Some were expecting a Jonathan Rea walk in the park here at Buriram, and well, quite frankly, we haven't had that at all, but we have had a scintillating World Superbike race here on Sunday afternoon in particular. And you know, for that reason, we've got a lot to talk about. So welcome to After Hours for Thailand 2016. Well, that was boring, wasn't it? I mean, Tom Sykes' incredible victory. That's surely got to be his best ever ride. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think this was a race where we really saw exactly what you can get from Tom this year. And if you think in terms of last year, we didn't really see a straight fight between the two Kawasaki riders for most of the season, but this was a real instance where we saw exactly how strong both riders can be, and a really good performance from Tom Sykes in both races.
In both, exactly, because that's what we were worried about, wasn't it, before we came here this weekend? Most of us, I don't know about you, but I was expecting a Jonathan Rea domination display this weekend. We didn't get it, did we? And Tom Sykes was right up behind him. Race 1, 2/10 of a second behind. Race 2, of course, 2/10 of a second in front. That's what the championship needed, Steve.
Yeah, and if you look at Tom, the last couple of years we've had to deal with questions about whether or not he actually could make the tyre last, whether or not he could actually race with Jonathan over the course of a 20-lap race. Whereas in both races this weekend, he had the tyre at the end of the race. He tried to fight. Yesterday, on the Saturday race, in race 1, he wasn't able to make the move and take the win, but he finished right on Jonathan's wheel. And then in this race, led for most of the race. When Jonathan tried to make his attack, when he tried to see if he could take the win, Tom had all the answers and ultimately took the win. It was a really strong performance.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. That was a brilliant second race. Of course, it means Kawasaki still won the first 4 of the Urban now. 1 to Tom Sykes and 3 to Jonathan Rea. So Rea did not become the first man since Neil Hodgson in 2003 to win the first 4. Hello, that was an amazing race, Tom. Was that the best ride ever in your career?
Maybe one of them. Yeah, I have to say it was a fantastic race, and really such a privilege to be part of it. But honestly speaking, I wasn't expecting that, because after 6 laps we really start to suffer with, you know, front turning on the bike, and really understeering a lot. So really had to rethink and recalculate what we needed to do, and in the end the lap just kept ticking off, and last 4 laps, you know, I knew Jonathan was strong. I have to say, very happy, because Jonathan is so strong here. You know, his past form here, and also how strong he's been all weekend. So to be able to turn around the result from yesterday was quite pleasing.
How big of a statement was this as well, Tom, just to show what you intend to do through the rest of the season? Obviously, Phillip Island was a difficult race for you, but you expected that. It's a track that you've never really been suited to. Whereas here, you came here and second in race 1, take the win in race 2. It must really show exactly what we can expect from you in Europe. Yeah,
I think so, and hopefully, because Phillip Island, we didn't get what we deserved, because on paper we were much faster. We had a couple of little issues on the bike, and also we came together with another rider, which didn't help the end result. But you know, sometimes a lot of people, it's quite boring, the question, but they always ask me about dropping off in the performance and everything. But certainly today, I think it's proof that when the bike's working well, you know, it's all about getting a fine balance and a compromise between rider and machine. And the beauty is, I feel that we're close now.
You can go back to Amy and Millie and Mia with lots of smiles now, can't you?
Correct. You know, we've had a difficult kind of last year, to be honest, and you know, Amy's mum was very ill, and unfortunately she passed away a couple of weeks ago. So you know, I changed my schedule. We flew back, and you know, my father-in-law John, he kind of tried to make a promise with me, and you know, go out and do it for Chris. So you know, this is extra special. I was able to do that on the track where Jonathan's so dominant, and so yeah, I want to dedicate it to my mother-in-law Chris, and I'm sure she'll have enjoyed that. And we can go back now and regroup, because like I said, the last 2 weeks has been super hectic, and my head's perhaps not being screwed on correctly. It's been a little bit all at sea. So we can go back now, regroup with a great family and friends, and come back to the European round stronger.
Thanks a lot, Tom. Very well done. Brilliant day for everybody. That one for Chris then, and plenty of other action, of course, up and down this pit lane. You've been very busy. Let's find out.
I think 7 laps to go. I started trying to make moves, but it was impossible. So, fair play to Tommy. Did an incredible job, and it's nice to have a Kawasaki 1-2. Albeit I prefer to be in the first side, but it gives me some motivation now to come back stronger in Aragon.
I've got to say that I'm pretty happy with the chassis, the work that we've done on that, but we just need a bit more power to make life a little bit easier. But that being said, I consider this our weakest track, both in terms of it's difficult for me and it's very difficult for the bike. So I've got to say thank you to my crew for working so hard last night, turning things around, and it's good to leave here with a smile on my face because that's the first one.
I'm very happy with the 5th place. The start was okay. I lose no place in the first few laps. I struggled a little bit in the first few laps, but at the end, lap by lap, I feel always better. And at the end, I got the 5th place. It's very good.
So plenty of smiles up and down at this grid, and big smiles as well in World Supersport. Look at this, Jill Clouseau winning the World Supersport race from Keenan Sofoglu, Peter Jacobsen in there as well. So a Kawasaki 2nd and a Honda 3rd World Supersport. Right then, Steve, Ducati, we knew it wasn't going to be the easiest of weekends for Ducati. They had a nightmare here last year. It could have been a lot worse, but Chaz Davies coming out with some decent points.
Yeah, definitely. I think when you look at the weekend, everyone expected Ducati really to struggle just because down on power, and even in the first race, Chaz had some technical problems. He finished 17 seconds off the win, but today he was able to get into that fight with the 2 Kawasaki's in race 2 and really show an awful lot of promise, show an awful lot of strength. And it's like what we were talking about earlier on, Greg. Just get the most out of the bike possible at every race, and that's what we've seen with Chaz time and time again, and that's what we can expect from him over the course of the next couple of rounds as well once we get back to Europe.
Because we can't forget history made on Saturday either. Michael van der Mark on the Honda became the first ever Dutch pole sitter in World Superbike history. And okay, he was 4th this afternoon on Sunday, Steve, but he was on the podium yesterday. 3 podiums and a 4th from the first 4 races. You can't really knock that, can you?
No, not at all. And Van der Mark again just shows that strength that we've seen from him time and time again, the added experience of having a year on the bike as well. He really looks like he's grown this year, and the Honda's improved an awful lot. We saw time and time again that last year they were down on power, they were really struggling, but now this year there's an awful lot of progress from them, and they're really ready to make that step forward. Talking to Van der Mark, talking to Hayden, they really feel that this being the weakest track that they were at last year, that now they're ready to make that step and possibly even challenge for the podiums, challenge for the wins on a more regular basis as well once we get back to Europe.
And let's hope for the good of the championship and for Honda that they will as we get back to Europe, as you say. Here's what they had to say though after the race, Nicky Hayden and Michael van der Mark.
Phillip Island, I thought we could be fast there, and it's no surprise. But to come here 2 weeks later, completely different circuit, different conditions, and me showing up, learn a new track on Friday, race on Saturday, and to show, lead a session. It's the first time I've led a session in Superbike, and this morning I was quite quick with used tires. I mean, yeah, we definitely, I can't be happy come this far and get 1 5th place result, but overall there's some positives in there.
A pole position, my first ever in Superbike. Podium yesterday, and today another 4th place. So a lot of points this weekend, and for me the best thing is that we finally get a confirmation that the bike is really improved on every track.
Has that surprised you, just how competitive you are here? Because obviously last year this was the weakest track for the Fireblade.
Yeah, it surprised me a lot. On Friday I was fastest, but I was holding him back a little bit because I don't know what to expect on Saturday. And then when we took pole position, I was really surprised and finally saw that we have such a better bike.
So 2 rounds down and 12 to go, but 3 weeks now until the Motorland Aragon event, and all of these bikes and all of this equipment needs to be put back into the flight cases and transported over to Spain for the race in April. Anything on the agenda? Any special plans? A holiday maybe until then?
Not for me, Greg. I'll get to go back home and have 3 weeks back in Ireland, and it'd be nice now just like for everyone else in the paddock, you get a couple of weeks away on the road, and now we can all get to go home and just enjoy being back in Europe again.
Okay, nice one. We'll have a good time back on the Emerald Isle, and we will resume in Aragon in 3 weeks' time. Aston only 2 weeks after that, so things are getting busy. But it's been a dominant start to the season for Kawasaki in World Superbike in 2016. But for now, from Thailand, good night.